It's 7:02 and I'm Maya Hasagawa, and I'll be chairing the meeting of the Development Review Board of October 20th. I think I have the right date. And it's 7:02 p.m. and I'm calling the meeting to order. Okay. I have to read some, for those of you who have not attended before, I have to read some opening remarks, and I will also say that if you are a member of the public or going to be testifying in any way, we have to swear you in, and I'll tell you when that happens. And we ask that you mute yourself until it's time for you to speak. So my opening remarks, which I'm sure the board is tired of hearing. At the DRB, we hear applications for land development in the town of Brattleboro and appeals of zoning administrator decisions. Procedurally, the Development Review Board operates on the record. Broadly, this means that we take a clear record of testimony from the applicant and any interested parties, and then issue a written decision with our findings. Applicants and members of the public should be aware that as we are on the record, this is your opportunity to comment on and provide evidence relating to an application. In the event our decision is appealed to the environmental court, the court will not take or consider additional testimony at its hearing, but will look at the evidence from our hearing, the regulations, and determine if the evidence supports the findings and decision of this board. Only interested parties that participate in this proceeding may appeal a decision made by the board. So I strongly encourage all of you to speak up at this hearing. As we are on the record, I'm going to ask anybody that thinks that they're going to be testify or is here to present about a case to unmute yourself, and you can put your video on. Jason?
Yes.
Do you have video?
I see you. I don't see myself.
Okay. Well, just unmute yourself then.
Unmute myself.
You're unmuted. You're unmuted. I have to be able to hear you right now.
Okay.
So would the applicants and anyone wishing to speak to an application, please affirm the following. I hereby affirm that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
You have to speak up so that the recording can hear you.
I do.
Jason?
Jason's muted again.
Jason?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Mute yourselves again.
Sorry, I'm late. Apparently the Zoom had to update itself or something, whatever.
Well, I'm in the middle of reading remarks right now, Catherine.
I just wanted to apologize for being late.
That's fine. Applicants require a majority of the full board to succeed. That is 4 votes out of 7. If we do not have a full board present to hear your application, then we will consider a request to continue your application to the next public meeting. We have 6, I believe 6 out of 7 members present. After taking testimony, the board will close the public hearing and may vote on your application. The board will issue a written decision within 45 days of the close of the hearing. While we may vote on an application, it is the written decision that controls the timeline for appeal. It should be noted that the town of Brattleboro is a party with an interest in land development applications. The town does not have a special status before this board. Documents provided to the board by the town planning department, town attorney, or other town departments will be considered in exactly the same way as information from the applicant and all other interested parties. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of September 15th?
I motion to approve the minutes of September 15th.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of September 15th. And everybody can just say aye at this point. We're so aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, it's 6-0. For Brian, you're keeping track.
Yes.
All interested parties took the oath. Has the meeting been properly warned? Brian,
Yes, it has.
thank you. Are there any conflicts of interest or ex parte communications? I believe Michael has a conflict with 21-165. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. The first case on the agenda is 21-139, Jason P. Doubleday, request for a minor subdivision approval off Rice Farm Road. So, Jason, you should unmute yourself and tell us about your project.
Well, I'm selling 2 parcels of land. One is to the Friends of the West River Trail, consisting of, some acreage. And another parcel I'm selling to, the West River Trail acreage is 7.4. And the other lot is 9.7 acres. I'm not sure what else you want me to say about those.
Well, are you selling it for development purposes?
I'm not going to develop it. No,
But are you selling it so that somebody else can develop it?
well, the second parcel, yes. I am. They are planning on putting a tiny house on the 9.7 acre piece.
Okay, do members of the board have questions? Dan,
Yes, sir. When you say tiny house, do you mean a mobile unit or something with a foundation? Do you have any information about that?
I really don't have a clear understanding. Right now, it's on wheels. I think that when it gets here, it will be put on a foundation. But I don't know really for sure.
okay, just so you know, and the person who's developing it know, is that I believe that they will have to make an application to the board, to this board, before they do anything.
I knew that, and I am pretty sure that the buyer also knows that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that they understand that. So I had some questions. Do you know anything about what will happen with stormwater management of this property?
Of which property are we talking about?
I'm not talking about the strip across the West River that's going to be conserved. I'm talking about the strip that was Lot 1B.
Okay, stormwater management.
Maya, if I could just jump in a second. So for a parcel like this, the stormwater would be off of the access road. And you'd be looking to make sure that stormwater wasn't discharging directly from the road into streams or into wetlands. So that was diverted into just open forest floor so it could be absorbed there. So is that going to be happening?
Yes,
You know, how is
See,
that
this-
gonna,
I'm sorry, this is the first time that I've understood that this was an issue. So I'm caught a little short here. I can say that it will be done. But like I say, I didn't know that there was an issue concerning this. So I'm unprepared to really answer your question.
okay, on the, and maybe Steve can put this up, on the map that you sent along with the photographs.
Yes,
I'm confused as to what the, where the driveway into Lot 1B is. Steve, do you have that? Can you put it up?
Brian has access. Oh,
Okay,
hang on. If Brian has access to the plan serve, I don't have it through this laptop. So
Okay.
if you would mind sharing that for me. I know it's in the application materials folder.
I might be able to answer the question about the driveway, if you like.
okay,
You see the right of way, the 30-foot right of way stops at the boundary, which is a brook. And there is a dotted path lined out on the map, drawn out on the map, that would be the driveway to the person's house. It's a
so
continuation of the right of way.
so it's the dotted lines that go between what you have as 4 and 5 and 3.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and there's also another dotted line that goes off that right away, that goes also over to the brook. What is that?
That's just a trail
Okay,
that was drawn in by the surveyor.
okay, so the driveway is actually, the house is going to be someplace along the brook off the driveway?
I don't think it's been decided yet where exactly the house is going to be. It will be either in one or the other of those two areas that are circled.
Okay. And this driveway also goes to the conserved area? Is that going to be public access?
No. That's
So
going
how-
to cease, that will cease to exist as far as I'm concerned.
What will cease to exist?
That dotted line beyond what the new landowner is, wherever he puts his house, that the rest of that trail will not be maintained for anything. That's just put in there by the surveyor because the trail exists now, but it will not in the future.
Hey, Brian, could you come off mute? Are you going to bring this up so we can see it?
I'm not really sure exactly how to do that.
Okay, I have it up right now, Maya. I can share, I think.
Okay.
That'd be excellent.
Just let me figure it out.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but I never got a package. So I would love to see it.
I think it was only attached to an email, Catherine.
It was,
Yeah, I know, but I,
it's out on the town website. Actually, I'm not sure how to do it either.
Well, while we're trying to figure that out, I'm sorry if I missed this, but
Okay,
all
here we
right.
go. Oh, excellent, Nora, thank you.
all
Nora,
right.
can you enlarge it a little bit, Nora, so we can?
I will try.
Oh, you're doing great. You see where the plus and minus is at? I think that's where it's to your left.
Go
Oh,
over
yeah.
one.
Yep, right there.
Okay,
Click that and that'll bring it up.
All right.
There we go.
Oh, great.
They're visually impaired, like me.
wow. All right, so we're looking at,
That is perfect.
it's lot one, right? We're interested in here.
Yeah.
Well, it's lot
No.
one
No,
B.
no. Lot-
1B down here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
move,
Down at
move.
the bottom.
Yeah, there's
Can you
one
move it
A
up a little bit?
and there's
There.
one B, right to your left. Yes.
Okay,
So 1B is the conserved land. I'm pointing, nobody can see me point. Conserved land is over, maybe you
Over
can point
here.
out the West River. That's the
Right here.
conserved land. That's the West River.
right, there's the trail right here.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay,
And this is lot 1B.
yep, all here.
And that
And
house is getting plopped where on bit
And this-
one B?
We don't know.
Ah,
but this is
Well,
the driveway. Can you point out the driveway? It's up, it's the little trail. That's the
This here?
access road. And then you
Here?
keep going. That's one driveway, one trail. And then if you go straight down the access road, Nora,
Here,
no, the other way,
here.
that's the driveway.
So the driveway comes across the trail?
No.
No?
That,
It
where
looks like
you are
it's
now is
stopped
going
there.
to be discontinued. Isn't that what you said, Mr.
Yeah.
Doubleday?
Yeah,
That is correct.
so just
I'm
the first-
afraid that the map you are showing now does not include the areas that I circled and numbered.
oh,
Right,
So it's-
the in red, that's what we have also. We have a copy of that.
Well,
Okay.
we have copies of both.
Oh, okay.
So where the pointer is now, you have a 4 and then a 5 up to the right of it.
Yes.
So the 4 and the 5 are likely house locations.
They're pictures.
Well, no, that is I did what I understood a development envelope to be, and I those are the numbers are the position I was standing when I took the picture.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
the arrow is the direction in which I took the picture.
Okay.
That bigger circle there is pretty close to 100 yards long. So I took, that is the possible site for the house. There is also a smaller circle with number 3 on it. That is also another possible site for the house. I don't know exactly where he plans on putting, or if he's decided yet where he is going to put his house.
Ah. Okay.
Isn't that something that he has to come before you to have approved?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
just to clarify really quickly. So when a parcel is subdivided, you have to be able to demonstrate that you can develop it in conformance with all the regulations.
Yep.
So we asked for these potential development sites to show that you can in fact develop these parcels in full conformance. If a future landowner chooses to develop a different area, so long as it's fully conforming, that's fine.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that, I mean, you have that brook there, and that's my concern, is if you build a house at either of those places, that what kind of runoff are you going to have? And that was my question about stormwater management.
Or a septic
because-
system or anything like that.
Yeah, does that come under septic as well, stormwater?
Yeah. And is it clear that they can have water and septic back there? I mean,
Well, he's in the process of having a perk test done there.
Well, if he's
So-
doing that, he must have a site in mind.
Well, he has a site for a septic system. That is not necessarily where the house will be. The house could be in that smaller circle and the septic system could be in the larger circle. I don't know. Like I say, I don't know, but that is a possibility.
So I guess my question is, I guess until we know basically where this is going, it's hard to make a decision. Really. I mean, and you said, Mr. Doubleday, is that guaranteed that he is, correct?
I'm sorry, I missed part of that question.
You mentioned that there's that possibility he may or may not build on there. He hasn't quite decided as of yet.
No. He hasn't decided exactly where the house is going to be positioned.
Okay.
He is going to build.
So is there a time frame, I guess, as he mentioned to you, what he's looking as far as when he's going to go forward?
He wants to go forward as soon as he has approval to go forward.
well, we can't give him approval to go forward based on the information that has been provided so far. We don't have a site for the house. We don't know whether there's adequate possibility of sewage and water, sewer and water. And we don't know anything about how he plans to manage stormwater and runoff. So not to pollute that brook. And I think you have to show that there is a possibility that, I mean, that all the conditions can be met for building.
Maya,
Yeah,
that would be something that the new owner would want to show us. He's going to have to come in to get approval as far as his building for that. That shouldn't I don't believe, and Brian may be able to help me out here a little bit, but does that make a difference as far as whether this lot can be subdivided?
Yeah, Michael, I think you're right there. So long as the lot can be developed in conformance, it can be subdivided. But any future development will also have to conform to the regulations. So if they put a house on it, they will have to have it treated stormwater in a way that conforms to the regulations. And it will have to get whatever state wastewater permit is required. Right now, the parcels are under wastewater deferral language in their deeds, which means anybody who buys them does so understanding that they haven't been approved for a wastewater system. And that's considered legitimate by the state. So
Okay.
it would be appropriate to move forward.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. In the supplemental information, it does have state water permit deferral language, which I guess means if I remember reading that correctly, it means that if he can't meet the standards, then he may not be able to build.
Yeah, it's a common thing for, it hasn't been, it's being sold as a piece of land that may or may not be developable. There's no guarantees, but it can still be subdivided, I believe is what Brian's saying, yes?
Yes.
Well, it meets the criteria. I mean, it's the frontage and all that are,
Well, I'm picking up on this is that this piece of land is actually being sold to be subdivided. And if they're going to subdivide it, isn't it subdivided to be able to use that subdivision for probably, a home or a teepee or whatever's going to go there? The point is that that's why it's being subdivided. Is that why the land is being sold?
yes, except that if the new owner can't meet the standards, then he can't build.
So Maya, that all also depends on what
Okay.
is he building? Do we know if it's going to be a tiny house, trailer? We don't know. So that being said, that makes a
Well-
factor in there as well too, correct?
Well, when he comes before us, he'll have to have plans and meet all the criteria.
And if anything else is going to be added on that as well. Okay. So,
Well, I'm concerned that as long as the purchaser knows that it may not be buildable,
right.
then I guess I'm okay with it. But if it's being purchased because he definitely wants to build, then I don't think it meets the criteria.
Right.
Well, that's the impression I was getting from what Mr. Doubleday was saying, was that it was being sold for that purpose, that he has somebody who's interested in building something on it.
Right, but as long as the buyer understands that he may not be able to build there if he can't meet certain criteria,
And
then
that's
that's the
what-
buyer's issue.
And that's what the deferral language in the deed is usually about, is that
Yeah,
there is not a wastewater permit for this piece of land, so it may or may not be developable. Usually, people will, before they actually purchase a land, and I get the impression from Mr. Doubleday, is that they will often get an engineer out there to dig some test pits and locate an appropriate area for a leach field and all that kind of stuff, so that they have some assurance that they will be able to meet the criteria before they put their money down, so to speak.
Has Mr. Doubleday, has this property already been sold?
No. I'm waiting for your approval to be able to subdivide the property,
Okay,
both pieces. We haven't talked about the West River Trail piece, so.
I'm not sure that we have any problem with conserving that strip of land. Does anybody have any questions about that conservation piece?
With the conservation and preservation of that particular trail?
Well, it's the land, lot 1A.
Yeah,
Well, I have a,
Go ahead, Dan.
well, yeah, Mr. Doubleday, I do appreciate that you're making the effort to conserve that piece of land. I'm wondering what was the deciding factor in where the dividing line is and how many acres were going to be conserved relative to this other lot? Is there a natural, I mean, there's that path, is that essentially it's right about X number of feet away from the path? Is that the idea? Where the line is?
You mean lot 1A?
Mhm.
Yeah,
That was actually that represents a line running parallel to the old railroad bed,
Mhm.
25 feet to the, well, looking at the map here, to the right side. That was originally the way the railroad boundary was laid out, 25 feet either side of the center of the track. And that just seemed like a reasonable place to put the boundary. I didn't have to put it there, but it seemed like that gives them enough land on on that one side, so that if they have to deal with problems, erosion problems or whatever, then they would have. So that was the reason for that, where that boundary lies.
So it was
that's-
more or less the old railroad right away down through there.
Yeah, that's pretty steep there, right here, right? As I recall.
Well, not right down to the railroad bed. There's actually quite a setback before the hill starts up. There, I
Okay.
would say 100 feet from where the railroad bed is before it starts getting steep.
May I ask another question? So
Sure.
to the north of this, are you, I'm presuming in Dummerston, you have a similar subdivision going on? Is that correct?
No, I am not selling any other land, just these two pieces.
Okay.
So all this
So
here.
it ends at the Dummerston line.
oh, there we go. Lot 2, lot 1.
So the Brattleboro Dummerston line is on this map.
Here?
Yes,
No, it's down. It's right
Further
down
down,
further.
next line down.
Oh,
There,
here, I
there you
see it.
go.
Yeah, okay.
So the trail will end at the Brattleboro Dummerston line?
No,
So
Oh,
that's
it
the West River
goes way
Trail.
up.
The West River Trail, yeah, I understand, but that's still your property, sir?
Here.
yes.
Okay.
It is.
Gotcha.
But he has to deal with Dummerston for that.
Right. Earlier, I had a question just about the fact that it's on Rice Farm Road. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with it, but would it seem to you or any of you on the board that there are neighbors already in this area? I know Richard Epstein is mentioned there, that already make a pattern that makes sense for a house to go there?
Well, when I looked at it, I only saw a couple of houses back there.
But the address would be Rice Farm Road, correct?
I don't know. I
So
assume so.
well, there must be other houses
Yes,
on Rice Farm.
yes, that's
assume
the
it will be.
that's the only public road to access any of this property down there.
Right.
And this would be a shared driveway road type of thing with the houses that are on there now.
Yes, there is just one house. Yeah. In Dummerston,
Yep.
not on my piece of property.
Any other questions? Comments?
Can I ask Brian a question? Is there a sort of, do we have a commenting role about the number of acres and sort of the de facto nature of the way the line was chosen? Or is that really, that's not a concern of ours?
Yeah,
I mean, in other
that's
words, did
really a
we-
private decision. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Okay, just wondered.
There's a stipulation in the sales agreement with Lot 1B that it can never be subdivided again. Is it still up in the air whether at this point, is it still up in the air whether I can sell this piece of property or not?
Well, we haven't voted and we haven't made a decision yet. Okay,
Well, Are there,
So-
are there issues that you want to ask me about that I can make a comment about?
I think we've asked our questions. Unless any members of the board have other questions. No? Is there a motion to approve the subdivision
I'll make a
of,
motion. to approve.
of,
Maya,
Oh. should we vote twice, one for 1A and one for 1B, Brian?
no, but there are some people present, so you
Oh,
should
are
hear
there
from
any
any members of the
public
public.
Yeah,
Okay. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment? I think you can take the map down, Nora.
Okay.
Thank you, Nora.
thank you, Nora.
Well, now I learned how to do something. That's good.
That's pretty good.
You did great.
Are there any members of the public who wish to comment? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the subdivision of lots, parcels 1A and 1B?
I
I
would,
so move.
I would second it. Or, I don't know, I guess we don't need to.
What, you need to?
We don't need to second it, do we? We just need to
Yes,
vote.
yeah, you should. So I'm going to call the roll. Nora,
I,
Michael,
Aye,
Dan?
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
me, aye. So your subdivision has been approved, Mr. Doubleday.
Thank you.
And you will be getting a written notice. You can't do anything until the decision will not be final until you get a written document with the decision.
Could I ask what the time frame of that would be?
Well, technically we have 45 days,
Okay,
but Brian and I are usually a lot faster at doing those.
okay.
So I'm not making any promises, but it won't be 45 days.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you don't need me anymore?
No,
Okay. Have a nice
thank
evening.
you. Good
You
night.
too. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to 2021-147. Jacklyn Root. Request for a minor subdivision approval to create a new parcel at 35 Fairground Road. And I don't believe Miss Root is here, but it's my understanding that Brian is going to present the,
Yes, that's correct. I made a agreement with Mrs. Root to do that. She has traveled down to Florida and is not available. She had intended to present this at the last meeting, but due to an error on my part, it was not warned. And this is the workaround we've tried to accommodate her and get over that mistake on my part. And I think it's appropriate in this case because the subdivision is conforms to all requirements of the code. The proposed parcel is regular in shape. It duplicates the pattern of other parcels in the immediate neighborhood. The parcel is flat. It's smaller than 1 acre, so the setbacks for the district define what the development envelope is going to be. The applicant has confirmed that an access permit can be granted by Public Works. Likewise, the applicant has asked for capacity for sewer and water from Public Works, and they have confirmed that they do have that capacity. There are no natural hazards at the site. The site is flat. There are no buffers. There are no special flood hazard areas. It's a residential district, and it should be able to be developed with a residence or multifamily in full conformance with the requirements of the code.
everybody's seen the letter from Dan Tyler about the water and sewer and saying it's okay. And I drove by there and there's a whole row of lots there that are all the same size as this new one is going to be.
Yeah.
So did
Seems
anybody?
Seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions about it? Oh, Steve has figured out how to screen share.
No
So,
issues for me.
Not mine either.
Nada.
so that shows the lots there. Everybody can see those. The new lot is the one on the right as you look at the screen.
Steve, do you have the Google map of that? The Google Earth, should I say?
No,
Well,
I
In
don't
the
know whether
upper right,
anybody,
in the upper
anybody-
right of that, you can see the neighborhood, if that's what you mean.
it's the approach to the high school.
All right, because I have it on here, so I have a Google Earth better on that, so I can see a little better.
I guess that the only, that was reading through the things on it, the only issue that seemed to come up at all was just the idea of doing some, making sure that there was going to be some sort of planting out front, no?
Yeah, that's correct. It does require 2 street trees or the equivalent plant units. So that could be, say, 3 small trees. But I think that could be left to the buyer to determine,
Yeah.
pick out the trees they actually like.
So, will the builder have to come before us again? Probably not, right?
Yeah, I expect they'll be building a single family home by right. So it's almost certainly going to be administrative.
Quick question. Do I understand the diagram correctly that it's going to be a driveway that's shared with the existing lot? That kind of that L-shaped driveway?
I
Or is there gonna
don't
be a
think
new
that's, yeah, I don't think that's the property owner's intention. I think they want to maintain that kind of parking area for themselves. And that would be an easement that would dissolve once both parcels are sold.
Mhm.
But Public Works has said that a driveway can be built onto it safely, so.
The picture that came with the packet shows the empty lot. It's between the car and the house. Yeah,
Oh,
Just waiting for a house.
yep,
Look at that.
All right, the car is the driveway for the next lot down, it looks like.
yeah. Yeah, I believe so. Because this house is being built between two existing houses.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments?
I'm sorry, I don't know the process, but when we vote, if I were intending to abstain, would I tell you then, or would I tell you?
When we vote, you can say
Excellent.
you're abstaining. Okay, is there a motion to approve this subdivision?
I motion that we approve the subdivision.
It serves a public here.
Oh, are there any
No.
members of the public that wish to speak? Yes?
Sounds like no.
Okay, so there has been a motion to approve the subdivision at 35 Fairground Road. And it's been seconded, so I will call the roll. Nora,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Dan,
I'm going to abstain.
okay, Gary,
Aye.
Catherine.
I,
So it's 5 ayes. Oh,
You.
me, I forgot me. 5 ayes and 1 abstention. And the subdivision has been approved.
I missed who moved and seconded the motion.
I move,
Gary and Catherine.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, we move on to 2021-165. Is there anybody here that's going to speak, present this project?
The applicant requested a continuance.
oh,
Okay. So, Mr. Spencer, I guess you don't have to speak tonight. So we can vote on the continuance and continue it to, let's see, when's the next meeting?
November?
November 17.
November 17th.
Right.
Is there a motion to continue 2021-165
I
to,
motion,
let me finish giving the motion, to continue it to the next meeting on November 15th,
17th.
17th.
17th. I motion that we continue to the 17th November.
Is there a second?
Second,
I'll call the roll again. Michael is recusing himself from this one. So Nora,
aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Gary,
I,
Catherine,
Aye.
me, aye. So this project is continued till the next meeting. Is there any other business to come before the board? I wanted to talk about, Michael, you can come back. I wanted to talk about whether or not we wanted to continue to, I gather that it's easier for staff and that's less expensive. I mean, there's some cost in doing a hybrid and form a meeting, whether we feel comfortable in meeting in person or whether we want to continue just to meet on Zoom.
I mean, right now, I mean, way things are, and I think we had a meeting on that last night with Select Board. I think we should just follow and see where we're at. I think it's kind of high right now. And I think, you know, if it's just us versus Select Board, because Select Board usually has a larger amount of public participation and people there versus us. And it's just people that are asking for permission for whatever that is they need. What's the most public participation do we pretty have when we do these type of meetings?
Pretty small, except when there's animals involved.
Like
Then we get a
chicken.
big turnout.
So I think if we're proper, it's pretty big. I guess if we're properly all spread, I feel okay. Like I said, I've been fully inoculated. I have 3 shots and.
Well, we'd be masked when we,
Yeah. So I mean, I'm personally myself, I feel okay with it. As the rest of the colleagues, it's up to their discretion.
Maya, I'm okay with meeting in person.
Hmm. I don't know. I'm not comfortable until after the holidays are over when we see, because we know what happened the last year. That's when it spiked. And plus it's a little difficult right now with me with my knees getting around. I mean, I can get there and get back, but once it starts getting dark at night, I really do not like to walk over there.
Hey, I'm kind of enjoying the meeting from home, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, come winter, we might be there again. You never know. So
That's right. Why don't y'all come over here? Yeah.
So
chocolate and donuts on you. Huh?
I
Dan?
mean,
I think Brian has I'll definitely talk, but Brian has a point to make.
oh, go ahead, Dan.
No, please, go ahead. Unless you really want me to.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that we're hoping to continue with a hybrid model, just because it seems to be a real value to people who are testifying from far away, so they don't have to drive hours to get here for 10 minutes of testimony.
Right.
So we can certainly do it so some members are present and some are at home, just as we can with some applicants present and some testifying remotely. It's just that the setup for that is it takes longer for BCTV and it's more expensive. So I just want to make sure that if we're actually asking them to do that, we're actually here to take advantage. If we're not going to be here, then we do a really simple setup. Again, that's less expensive. Either way, it's fine, so long as we know what to ask the BCTV to set up and we actually make use of whatever they put out there.
we mean it's less expensive for us, for the town. Because BCTV, I know, well, I can't tell you how many times I was behind the camera, but they actually get paid for being behind that camera.
Yeah, that's
So-
right. So it's a less expensive setup for the town to do it like we did today with only just a laptop present in the meeting room.
So that's
So
what we're doing.
Brian, question, doing it totally remote like we did tonight, which I'm fine with, I don't have any problem, but is that as inclusive? Not everybody has a smartphone or a tablet or Wi-Fi or connectivity and stuff. Is that
Sure.
ever an issue?
Yeah, so it is still a meeting with a public place, so people can come to the select board, and we have the TV set up so people can see and hear everybody who's testifying, and people who want to testify from the select board meeting room. The laptop camera and mic will pick them up so that the board and everybody else can see them. So everybody should be able to participate on a relatively equal basis. It's just that we don't have many people here.
I mean, the only time we ever were overrun was when we were doing the skateboard park, or, something that had to do with massive amount of town stuff. And
Well,
then we
the
had a lot of
shelter.
people. Yeah, then they would have a lot of people. But, people get warned. I mean, how many times have we had people who came to the in person and had to sit there and wait for their turn to sit there? And I'm thinking it might have been easier for them if they had access to the ability to do it online. They probably would have rather done that than sit there in the select board room waiting for their turn.
Yeah, if I could just add one thing, if it's possible at all, the only thing that is a little bit of a concern about this is exactly like what happened tonight, and I'm not complaining, but when you do have someone with an application or a public commenter, it would be nice if they were able to, if they were able to use their video while they're talking. And that's really, it's not a requirement for sure, but it would be nice. It's one of those things where, so if they're not able to do that, it somehow takes away from their participation.
Yeah, I don't think we've had too many people who were presenting a project that didn't have video.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to remember.
Well, tonight, Mr. Doubleday didn't,
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a huge deal. I just think sometimes it can, might be a concern,
yeah.
No, he probably opted not to, too. We don't know. He could have had access to video and not wanted to be seen.
Well, I noticed one thing. I mean, being on different committees as I am, there's a 360 that takes a pan of the whole room. And like I said, Brian, I don't know the cost of different ways of setting up with BCTV, because when we're doing the planning commission, we use the 360. Or if we do is another meeting, they use the 360 also. And like I said, I don't know the cost of each particular one. I was listening to Peter and them last night on how they were deciding how to do their setup. And I think they're doing it at the firehouse with public, and then they were trying to factor in, trying to figure out how they were going to do it. So I don't know. I mean, because the last time we did a meeting with RTM, we had a laptop set up. And like today with Human Services, we just had one of the members just having their laptop. So there's different types and forms of setup. So I think that's something that BCTV can probably explain to us how that works.
Hi,
Hi, everyone.
did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'd be happy to just jump in for a second. I've been listening to what you've been saying. And Gary is absolutely right that we have been handing out a 360 camera to committees who are meeting, and the planning commission uses it. For this particular meeting, because of the sort of quasi judicial function of the board, I feel like it's a little too, I would rather have a person in the room and have a person managing the public input, because they are testifying and it is
Yes.
a legal
Yes.
proceeding. And sometimes, with the 360 camera, people aren't really paying attention. The person's cut in half. People are stretched out. It's not, it's just not what you want for a legal testimony.
Yeah, as I understand it, we have one case that's under appeal from almost a year ago. And the environmental court is going to review the video
Right.
as testimony.
And
So
That one went over 2 meetings too, didn't it?
yes,
Yeah, it's hours. Oh,
Even I
Yeah.
was saying that we didn't know what the statutory requirements are in terms of people not turning their camera on. If they are going to be testifying, that's something you might want to look into. But I just, from BCTV perspective, for covering this particular meeting,
Mhm.
I would like to have humans in the room, and making sure that whoever is testifying, regardless of their technical ability or anything, to
Right.
well represented.
yeah, well, I think chairing meetings for me is more difficult when we're split. When some of us are in the meeting room and some of us are on Zoom. It's a lot easier for me if it's everybody is one way or the other.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
just in terms of figuring out who's speaking and who wants to speak. And we did one meeting that was hybrid, and I found it kind of difficult. I think Nora had to keep poking me and saying, so-and-so wants to speak. And it's a lot easier when I can see people. Like I can see everybody and I can see people's hands raised and I can see people wanting to talk. And I can do that either when we're all on Zoom or we're all in person. So I think, in deference to Catherine right now, maybe can we agree that we'll meet on Zoom for at least the next 2 meetings, and then we'll see what happens.
sure.
Sounds good.
Does that work for you, Brian?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. And, after the next 2 meetings, decide either to change permanently to one or the other, or just do it a month at a time in advance so people can plan on how it's going to be instead of, having it be a last minute decision.
Yeah. So the next 2 meetings we'll Zoom.
Right. And just to throw that in also, Maya, there's always that possibility. Like I said, January and February, it might be just one person there because of the weather. And that's factoring that into, because we don't know what the weather is. So we might be just doing this now until May.
I don't know. I've gone to meetings
Just saying.
in person when it's icy out. So
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
some people don't
I
like
don't
going
come
out.
when it is, so,
Yeah.
I don't
So
come to
we'll
the
play
meeting
it.
when it's icy out, so.
yeah.
Right.
But that doesn't happen until February or something, so,
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I was just saying goodbye. Unless you
Hey.
have more questions for BCTV. I think that the setup, the way we've got it figured out, and with the planning staff, that this works well. It provides a physical location, and it's not complicated technically. And so, if you want to continue with this, I think this is a good way to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.
thank you, Corey. You guys do great
Thank
work.
you.
Thank you. Is there Any other business?
Oh.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
See you on
Okay,
Zoom.
see everybody next month.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy
Stay
Halloween.
safe.